Introduction to Immer. Introduction to Immer. Today we're going to look into a powerful tool in the JavaScript ecosystem, Immer. Immer is a German word meaning always. It is a small package that we're looking at, but this package basically really helped revolutionize the JavaScript ecosystem in the way we handle immutable state and application. It basically simplifies the complex and often verbose nature of immutability, thus making our code cleaner and more maintainable. Why Immer? So why choose Immer for JavaScript project? So whether you're working on React or backend JavaScript, handling immutable state is a fundamental aspect of modern JavaScript development, especially in frameworks like React and Redux. However, the traditional approaches can be cumbersome and error-prone. So Immer offers a new solution providing a more intuitive and less verbose way to work with immutable data. It ensures that you avoid any accidental mutation, reduces boilerplates, and allows you to write more concise and readable code. Key features of Immer. So let's delve into some key features that make Immer stand out. First of all, Immer has a robust error detection mechanism that helps prevent accidental mutations, which is a common pitfall in state management. Second, Immer drastically reduced the boilerplate code associated with deep updates in immutable objects. So instead of manually cloning objects at every level, you basically work with a draft state, and Immer handles the rest. And lastly, Immer is user-friendly, so it doesn't require any special APIs or data structures. It just has plain JavaScript. So what is Immer? We talked about Immer, but if we look at more technical aspects, Immer is a library that helps developers to handle immutable state in JavaScript applications. So Immer allows developers to transform mutable code into immutable updates seamlessly. And this process is often facilitated by a function called produce that is in the Immer library. And this produce function basically takes your current state and lets you apply changes in a mutable way, then returns a new state without altering the original one. So you get to have the simplicity of direct mutation, but also the benefits of immutability. Let's get a closer look at the produce function. So if you look at the example, the syntax is quite straightforward. First, you want to import produce from Immer library, and then what produce does, before talking produce yet, we have this base state, and basically produce takes two arguments, which is the base state It's what we mean by base state is the state you want to update, and a recipe function where you define the changes. So inside the recipe, you work with draft state and apply changes as if it's mutable. So by doing this, the base state remains untouched, and once the recipe is executed, it will produce the produce will return a new state, and, and it reflects all the changes made to the draft. So it is a powerful mechanism that ensures that your base state's immutability while providing an intuitive way to define updates. Practical example without Immer. Let's consider a scenario where you need to update a task status and add a new task to an array. Let's imagine you don't have access to Immer. Then what you need to do is you need to basically shallow clone each affected level of state structure carefully. So this process can involve multiple steps and can be prone to errors, especially if you have more complex state objects. Practical example with Immer. So now let's look at a practical example to illustrate how produce works. So imagine we have the same thing. We have an array representing task, and each with title and a done state. So if we want to add a new task and update an existing one, we can use produce. So just like the basic example we saw, when we call produce, we need to pass two parameters. The first one is our base state, and we have a recipe function, and we'll define our changes in the recipe function. So in this example, we would convert the second object in a base state done from false to true, and then we're going to add another object that has title, tweet about it, and done false. So we can see that we're interacting with the draft state just like we would with a normal JavaScript array using methods like push. So after executing produce, we will get a new state with our updates while the original state remains untouched. Curried producers. So Immer also introduces a concept called curried producer, which can further simplify working with state. So you can pass only the recipe function to produce. We get back a new function, and this returned function, when later invoked with a state, applies the recipe to that state. So this pattern is particularly useful for creating reusable state update functions like this toggle to the example. So we can see that this toggle function can we define the toggle function that can be applied to any state, which makes our code more modular and maintainable. In conclusion, Immer provides an intuitive way to manage immutable state in your JavaScript applications with its core produce function and the concept of curried producers. Immer allows you to write simpler, cleaner code while sticking to immutability principles. Whether you're managing complex application states or simply looking for a more straightforward way to handle updates, Immer can help you. Thank you, everyone.